supposed to be on the air. Just saying.
It's not. Ready?
Sure.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet. Unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey.
Ooh. 1 second. 1 second. Yep. I'm sorry.
We still got an echo too.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas.
Come back. Stop sharing.
Oh my gosh. Echo.
I don't think they hear that on the stream, right?
I don't think so. We are the only ones that get to appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Check 1, check 2. Stop sharing.
Thank you.
Why?
We're
Like
going to
the
talk
echo?
to each other.
We got echo when you do that, brother. All
I know.
right. We're ready?
Yes.
You're listening to episode 257. The wonderfully world-acclaimed PHP podcast, PHPUgly. I am your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon
Which world are we acclaimed on?
and Tom Rideout.
Hello.
Listen, if you're watching the What If series on Disney Plus, you will know there are multiple dimensions out there. We're clearly a good podcast in one of those dimensions. All I have to say about it.
At least one of them. Or we're a good podcast in every dimension but this one.
that's always very possible. Yeah. How are we doing this fine night, my gentleman friends?
Super.
Fantastic.
Cool.
That.
You feeling better, Thomas?
I am feeling better. You know, funny story is over the weekend, Sunday afternoon, evening, feeling quite good. Definitely getting better, 95%, something like that. My wife comes into the bedroom while I'm doing some work and complains about how smoky it is in the bedroom because of the neighbor's barbecue coming in through the window. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "You don't smell that?" And I said, "No."
Uh-oh.
And we looked at each other and went, "Oh shit." So turns out it was just an effect of my sinus infection. I did not get the COVID. I'm doing just fine.
Well, that's good to hear.
But it's kind of funny because, I've gotten sinus infections on a somewhat annual basis since I was a teenager, and it was never really important or noticeable that I lost my sense of smell or taste for a period of time. But now you lose your sense of smell and people around you start panicking.
I would start panicking, let alone people around me.
Well, I did. No, I definitely did panic too. Got in a nice anxiety nap.
Did you go and actually get tested?
It did actually. Went and got tested. Whole family got tested. Everyone's negative.
Good.
The teenagers are especially negative.
As they're prone to be, right?
Yes. Yeah, so it all worked out. But yeah, I went from being annoyed that I was sick to being
Stop
terrified.
talking! I'm starting Zencaster. You're listening to episode 257 of the Somewhat Okay podcast, where we've done this 256 times before, and you think we know what we're doing by now. I am your host, Eric Van Johnson, and my one job is to push a button when the podcast starts, and I managed to completely fail at doing that. So we're going to start again. With me are my good friends, John Congdon.
No, my joke doesn't work this time, so we'll just go there.
And Tom Right Up.
Hi again. I don't have COVID.
To catch everybody up,
That's the
Tom's
whole
feeling
story
better.
now.
He doesn't have COVID.
Yep.
We're moving on.
Yep.
If you want the backstory, go to YouTube and listen to it there.
This is why you want to watch the YouTube channel, because you audio podcast listeners will not have an appreciation for what we just went through. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
I like the
Yeah.
dramatic bring it to a halt and stop and start over.
I feel like Kermit the Frog waving my hands. Stop talking. I wish I could do a
Oh,
Kermit
boy.
the Frog voice.
Oh man.
How about you, John? How was your week? Thomas, you've been talking this whole show. Why don't you give John a chance?
I don't want to talk about this week. I want to go back to last weekend. My lovely wife surprised me and took me to Temecula for my birthday weekend. She planned it, dropped the kids off at grandma's house, and had a nice stay at a resort on a winery. It was fantastic. It was a nice little getaway, and nothing more to say. It was.
I thought you were going to say that she grabbed the kids and dropped you off in Temecula.
That wouldn't surprise me, I guess. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, having a great weekend. This week is the final week of the sprint that we're working on. And I don't know how much I've talked about it, but I'm in tax and billing hell. And it's still there.
Yeah.
How often do you guys work closely with another developer in the sense that you're working kind of on the same thing, but separate parts of it?
I had quite an architecture conversation today. Probably spent 2 hours just chatting about an action system for Laravel.
Yeah. Well, for this tax and billing thing, I'm working with somebody, and they're doing the billing part, and then they're passing information off to me to do the tax part. So I'm communicating with Avalara and doing the integration there. And it's hard because I got it all set up and working on the interfaces they gave me, and then completely switched the interfaces on me. I'm like, oh, well, because we need to also worry about this other stuff.
The whole point of the interface is that you don't switch it up. You switch up the implementation.
Okay. I agree. But I mean, it's a moving target right now. We're learning as we go. So it's not like everything was figured out and we had a rock solid interface. It just sucks that I got so much work done and then had to refactor so much of it and had tests around everything. And then all of a sudden my tests are all out of whack because now I got to figure out what I did wrong or to move things back. Such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But that's the way it's been this sprint. All right. Enough of me. Eric, how have you been? How's your week?
I got my kid talking to me through Discord right now, which is a weird thing, or YouTube actually.
You killed my great joke about negative teenagers. Dude, now I'm mad. Now that I realize that.
Who are you talking to? Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
My kid isn't a teenager.
No, I just remembered that I had that joke about negative teenagers.
Oh, it was
recording.
we had to restart.
People who listen to the live show would have appreciated it.
Yeah.
I'm still dealing with stress and trying to get through it all. We had the inspector at the house yesterday for the people purchasing our house. So that was fun. We're scheduling the inspector for the house we're purchasing. We have apparently a magazine we need to put together next week or so. I don't. It's just been crazy, man. I haven't had any time to do anything that I normally do on a regular basis. Yeah, it's been stressful, but it's getting there. We're getting done. We're getting over little humps. I think we're working on. So for those of you listening who do not know, John and I, this is our first month of officially taking over the PHP Architect magazine, and we are on the hook to put out the October issue. And
it's going to be late. We'll just say that.
It's going to be late?
Well, not really. Not late compared to where it's been the last year, I don't think. You think it's going to be later than normal?
I don't know. I think we will be struggling to get it out by the end of next week.
I don't think so. I think
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I think once we start getting the layout going, I think it'll be quick. Yeah, I'm going with that.
All right, let's go. I
have
I'm
confidence.
Hoping.
I have confidence. We're still waiting on a few columnists, aren't we?
I think we're waiting on one or two. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we're still waiting on that one jerk that's supposed to write the editorial.
Yeah, we're gonna have to let that person go very quickly. You can feel it.
Charlton started working on an article draft for us. Love hearing that.
Oh, cool. Nice.
But hit us up and let us know what you're thinking you want to write about, and we can start to make it official. There's that whole official aspect of it.
Yeah. So it'll be nice. It'll be nice to get the first one out of the way. We're trying to kind of define some workflows. Obviously, the first release we did probably wasn't the best time to mess around with people's workflows, especially when we didn't have one figured out and completely. We're fumbling through trying to come up with a good workflow. We probably should have just left that for a month or two, but no, we're just gonna change everybody's workflow right off the bat. And,
especially when we didn't like the workflow at the end of it.
Yeah, we made all these recommendations. Like, it'll be great. We're gonna do it this way, and it'll be fine. And after the first or second article, it's like, this sucks. Why are we doing it this way? I don't understand what I'm reading anymore.
So it's bad to make changes and push them out within a single release cycle.
Yeah,
you want to run it past people first.
We did, and we had some people say it was a good idea and other people saying no.
A quick little 24-hour poll.
We don't do 24-hour polls. It's 2 hour.
I'm not sure why I'm having a conversation with my kid over the stream, but apparently that's the way we communicate right now.
So you anything from Denny's?
I had a cathartic moment with one of my coworkers where we are implementing HTTPS security headers. It's boy, what's it called? It's like HSTS or something like
Yeah,
that.
HS. That's it.
Yeah. And we were just getting some of it done and wrapped up. And he goes, I recognize this. Where do I recognize this from? He goes, oh yeah, this is the thing that was in Laravel by default and then removed completely 2 days later. Yep. Yeah, that's the one.
This is the one where your coworker built on top of something and then it was ripped out. I thought
No,
was
this is a
testing.
different thing that it was built on top of and ripped out.
Oh,
Yes.
you know that
Wait,
whole.
I'm confused. You're saying within the couple of days that Taylor implemented this, you guys implemented it?
No, we didn't implement
Oh.
this. It was implemented as a default middleware for 2 days. And then it was removed.
I remember that.
It was removed not even as an optional middleware. It was just removed completely.
Huh.
So we ended up having to write the middleware again to do it.
Good thing you got Git history. You can go just find the code and bring it back.
Yeah, I know. It makes everything easy. You just have to find 8.63 or something.
Last week you were talking about what was it? Move on. I can't remember what it was.
It wasn't
embarrassing.
Twitch. You can't pin that on me. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, what happened with Twitch?
I heard something.
You guys, something? I mean, it is the most catastrophic thing I've ever heard. I've never heard of a company having a leak of this magnitude.
Okay, do tell, because I saw something about it, but no details.
So the article I'm referencing here is just headlined, "The entirety of Twitch has reportedly been leaked." And that is not far from the truth. Something along the line of 60 internal code repositories, including alpha and beta projects, test projects like a competitor to Steam for Amazon Studios, red teaming tools, all the source code for all the properties that Twitch owns.
Oh my gosh!
Including, now this is not just the source code. This is the full repo. It includes the entirety of the version history as well as the software. So the entirety of Twitch going back to when it was Justin TV, the whole code base for it, all the way back to then.
Wow.
SDKs and AWS keys, all the clients for all the different devices out there, source code, the payouts for creators from 2019 to now.
That was the big thing. I heard they also got like financial information.
Yeah, they got
creators.
it's the AdSense payouts for creators. And the creators, I mean, that's an easily calculable thing if you look at any of the creators' pages. AdSense payouts are pretty easy to figure out. So no one's, there was a lot of noise made about it, but all of the people whose names were in that part of the leak basically said, yeah, like we don't hide that at all. We have our subscriber count listed right here, and that lists what our payouts are. Like if you just do the math.
Right.
So yeah, there are people who are freaking out about that, but not actually the people who were affected by it. In general, 125 gigabytes of documents, source code, and more, including all of the security, privacy, customer complaints, internal courses of action, plans for future products. And this one is labeled Part 1. It is basically everything except for the user accounts and passwords.
Wow.
Because they didn't have database access. They just got all the repos. That is one concept. That is one idea. The other idea is that these are
somewhat ethical hackers who have no interest in monetizing it and don't have any interest in compromising individual users, just in compromising the company at large. So any PII or any personal information.
I don't think that's an ethical hacker if they want to compromise the company.
There is. They have a specific set of morals, but truly a nightmare scenario.
Did they disclose how this was leaked? How they got access to it?
There's been some discussion today that there was a server misconfiguration somewhere that leaked all this stuff, but I mean, that's a hell of a server misconfiguration.
We have doom and gloom. I think we need another section of the show.
Fully doom and gloom week this week.
Yeah, no, I think we need another subsection of doom and gloom. Just call it another week, another leak, and just talk about whoever leaked that week.
Schadenfreude.
It was like LinkedIn last week, wasn't it? Didn't LinkedIn have a big leak?
Oh God, I don't know. Did they?
I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but it was recently.
Well, this was.
Hey! Shh. I smell a column for PHP Architect.
Are you a PHP architect, Tom?
We leak ourselves.
If you are.
Am I a PHP architect yet? I don't know. Did I get added to the hard copy mailing list?
Anybody could be a PHP architect.
It sounds like you're trying to get me to play a video that I don't have.
If they have the right swag. No.
So this was Twitch. The worst possible scenario with Twitch was overshadowed by the second worst possible scenario with Facebook, where a former high-level manager went in front of Congress and said, oh, they know that it's destructive to people and their mental and emotional health, and that it has grossly negative impacts on the political spectrum. But they decided to monetize that instead of restrict it. And in response, Facebook shut down for 7 hours.
I am actually a little proud to say I didn't even know it until like hour 5 or 6 when I'm like, why is Facebook trending on Twitter? Why is everybody talking about Facebook? And I went over there. I'm like, wow, that is down hard. Like it wasn't even kind of down. It was down hard.
Yeah, so Facebook runs its own root level DNS server to host all of its records, and all of its records got deleted.
Is that what happened? I thought it was
is that what happened?
I thought it was a BGP issue in the
it was a routing. Well, it's hard to tell. I think there was a resolution issue, but then it might have been BGP a routing issue, but it brought down Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, as well as all of the internal tools that Facebook uses for communication, as well as security, such as opening the doors to the server room.
I didn't hear that one.
Yes, so the solution was they had to find somebody who had an angle grinder, and they had to grind the door to the server room open.
Get out of here.
Dude, I'm telling you, you ever running a network and fuck up your routes and realize you can't get to the router now that you fucked up your routes? It's a nasty problem.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, if your router suddenly is like, I don't know where to point anything or get anything, then yeah, you totally are stuck without console level access to the hardware. And it appears that that's what happened, and they had to break into the facility. At the same time, people had to be broken out of the facility. There were people trapped in the Facebook headquarters building because everything was ID card based. So super nasty, super nasty. Also, absolutely hilarious.
It is. I haven't done router work. Like I used to be able to understand BGP a lot better. Worked on BGP routing. Haven't done that in 20 years.
Yeah, me neither.
That sucks.
Oh man, I remember flashing the firmware on the Cisco routers, and you just like pray the thing comes back up because you don't have another Cisco router.
Right.
They were so expensive.
Yeah.
Now you go to the corner store and pick one up for $1.
Yeah, no,
pretty
the
much.
last time I did it, I actually had a VT100 dumb terminal that plugged directly into the router.
Oh, I remember doing that. Yeah.
So, I mean, really great stuff.
Man, I put something on my list. I don't know anything about it, and I'm hoping, Tom, you can tell me something about it. Did you see the? I don't know if you say this is a word, DeFi bug that accidentally gave out 90 million to users. Can you explain that to me? What is that?
So this is kind of like the three-way handshake that TCP uses, where when you're trading coins on something like Binance or Coinbase, you have a token and they have the token you want. You tell them I want to buy that from you. Coinbase takes the money from you, puts it in their account, and gives you the money you requested. Okay. That's considered a centralized exchange because there's a guy in the middle saying, I'm managing the transaction and I'm favoring myself in case there's an error in the transaction. Mm-hmm. So I make sure that your money comes through first, and then I send you the money you purchased.
Right.
DeFi is decentralized finance. It's a decentralized exchange, which means that a smart contract handles the role of that middleman. So when I say I want to sell 20,000 of my coins, a person who's on the exchange can say, okay, well, I'll buy 500 of those coins. And they say that to the contract, which is running as like an application. And the contract says, okay, I'll take from my pool and put it in a pending state, and I'll take yours and put it in a pending state, and we'll do the swap like this, just simultaneously, automatically, and it's actually on the blockchain. So the software that's executing this is being run by the people who are mining the cryptocurrency or managing, creating blocks. There's no website that this is on. There's no, host for this. It's just entirely on the blockchain. And that's the concept of decentralized apps is that, you can point at this app that's on the blockchain and use it without having a store somewhere or a server somewhere. It's everyone's the server, everyone's the application.
Okay.
So
all right. So my understanding in the incident we're talking about is, I guess this week, was it this week? Yeah, earlier this week, they pushed out some sort of software update to this DeFi network that started just distributing money to people.
Yeah, just started giving money out.
And then the founder is essentially just begging for people to give the money back. Like they can't track it or what? He's just saying, hey, everybody needs to give me that money back that you just got, and if you give it back to me, you can keep 10%. But if you don't give it back to me, you're going to be like, I'm going to come out after you legally for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it.
How was it somehow generated 90 million in coins, or is it they had 90 million in their account that they gave away accidentally?
I don't know specifically how this exchange works. Some exchanges, it's software. You could have an exchange that had its own accounts for everything as it's moving transactions around.
Mm-hmm.
and it could move money to the wrong destination account. You could have an exchange that just helped two different accounts track each other, and it sent the wrong endpoint address to someone else during an exchange. This is a failure in a component in a very large, profitable system. So I couldn't tell you exactly what occurred, but it's just a software bug, really.
It's insane.
The threat was otherwise it's going to be reported as income to the IRS. Okay, so I'll keep $1 million and pay my IRS taxes, and
Yeah,
that's better than
exactly.
keeping 10%.
Well, so
You're assuming they're in the U.S. to begin with, but yeah,
Right.
I mean, still, I'll pay taxes on that. Whatever.
the threat of reporting it to the IRS is just that the IRS will get your information, your personal information, and then
They have
give it
that
to the
already.
company. Well, they don't see. The IRS has systems in place to track down who actually owns a wallet or an address. Whereas, oh yeah, very much so.
Okay.
So especially if it's worth, 30% or 40% of $90 million. So the threat is report them to the IRS. The IRS tracks you down and says that's illegally obtained funds because it's an accidental transfer. Keeping an accidental transfer is illegal.
Is it?
Yeah,
What?
it is. It is. If somebody accidentally gives you $1 million and you keep it, 100%.
I've had that.
That's
I've had
illegal.
that happen with the bank before.
Yeah.
Where the bank has accidentally credited my account a large amount of money, and for a moment I was a thousandaire.
Yeah, no, it absolutely happens with banks all the time, and it is illegal to keep the money. It is a poor faith transaction, which is illegal.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Charlton,
Yeah,
I agree with you. I could see that with banks, but if I obtained $1 million from you accidentally, that's on you.
It's a legal gray area that you don't want to find yourself trying to litigate for.
Oh, I would
Well, I got a couple $1 million to fight it in court. Why not?
Well,
exactly.
Unless you lose, and then you fought it in court and lost the money. The keep 10% thing is very interesting. And this website's terrible because if you highlight something, it tries to send it to Twitter. But
What did you say?
If you this CNBC website,
Yeah.
if you highlight something, it pops up a dialogue that tries to send it to Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Well.
Yeah, so I mean, crypto's in its infancy. This stuff is going to happen, and honestly, $90 million is barely anything to flinch at in comparison to other things that have happened.
Do you think Facebook had Honey Badger installed? Where you think Honey Badger let them know their issue?
Guarantee that they didn't.
Honey Badger transforms you into a DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and cron monitoring into a single, easy-to-use platform. Stop wasting your time tailing logs and deploy with Swagger. Visit honeybadger.io today to level up.
Thanks Honey Badger.
Thank you, Honey Badger.
Definitely, Facebook definitely does not have Swagger.
I'm liking Honey Badger more and more. Last couple of weeks, the PHPUgly bot in Discord, which is at discord.phpugly.com. If you care to join our live chat during our show, or just hang out with us during the week, we hang out there all week long. But it had been broken for a while, and it's not my fault. It was Trello had changed how they did the cards, and I needed to update the code, and they didn't update their documentation. The documentation still says that the API is supposed to work, but it doesn't. So
it does work. It's how you pasted things into Trello that changed.
Yeah,
like you could still attach to, but the way we used to paste a link in used to create a card with an attachment. Now it doesn't.
Right.
But
That's a
the
good
API
point.
is still there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I've been working on it, and last week I got it working where I could do the show notes again, which was a huge help. But like the bot wasn't working, the thing that posts the links into the website, and so I was working on it before the show, and I realized I pushed out a commit because I thought I had it fixed, and I'm like, oh crap, I just broke something. And not only did I know I broke something because Honey Badger told me, but it even linked me to the commit. Like I have it configured now so that when I do commits and it does deployments, Honey Badger keeps track of those deployments for me. And when something breaks, it says, hey, this broke after this deployment. And I was able to link right to it. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Honey Badger. I knew that already, but I do appreciate it. We need to get that deployed for PHP Architect. Honey Badger. I think Honey Badger is a sponsor of PHP Architect as well.
This is their last month.
Well,
I think.
they're giving us money. They'll give anybody money.
Very true. So Honey Badger is a good product. We are using it more and more, and I'm very happy with it. It's very interesting when you start reading up more. I'm not trying to compare us to them, but it's very much like John and I, where they were a group of people who just had this initiative to build this thing. They didn't go out looking for financing. They didn't get investors. They just built it themselves. They're managing it themselves. It's very cool to reach out and talk to them and get a response from one of the creators of Honey Badger. So I think that's very cool. I will always be a Honey Badger fan. That's all I had, Thomas. I'm sorry, I can't be more for you. Man, I've been stressed out, brother. Stressed out.
Man, I was just reflecting on it slightly, and just this, even talking about the Facebook and Twitch thing, it's like making me warm and happy inside. Like it really made my week.
That they had issues.
Yeah, just that they're just like the rest of us. They get their entire source code repository of the $8.4 billion company leaked.
That was
just
Twitch.
Twitch, yeah.
That's an Amazon company. I think that's...
Yeah, that's the Bezos just bought Twitch like a year ago or something like that. That was an $8.4 billion deal.
And it got posted on Reddit, and I think that's what they said. They're like, yeah, Jeff paid 8-something billion for this. We're just gonna give it to you for free. Here. It started leaking the torrent links.
Now, I want to make it clear. I have not touched the torrent. I will not get anywhere near that torrent.
Is it still? I doubt if it's still available.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, it's very much available.
Jeez.
It's a magnet torrent, which means that the contents of the torrent are in the link itself. So like it doesn't require a host. If you have a link to the torrent, then you can start downloading it from the distributed network.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't have to have a server to like host the torrent file or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's no getting rid of it unless, honestly, some very heavy hands at the NSA got involved.
So why are you not going near it? You were like, I'm not even going to mess with it.
Plausible deniability, man. You can't be accused of stealing somebody's source code if you never downloaded it. I mean, like now the door is open. Anyone who runs a video streaming site from now on, Twitch can go into the federal courts and say, hey, we want to inspect their source code to make sure it's not ours. And they will absolutely get permission to do that.
Did you see in our Discord, again, discord.phpugly.com, Kevin just posted a link to a post on Twitter of somebody who has one of these repos, and apparently Twitch uses Laravel. There's a very interesting conversation in that thread going on right now.
Which
about
version?
How, well, I guess I can say the names because they're posting them on the public Twitter. Jeremy, who I believe used to work for AWS, says Amazon is probably actively trying to make them stop using PHP. Amazon hates PHP. Yeah, but yeah, they posted a screenshot of what looks like a Laravel directory structure, complete with the artisan command and everything else.
And Freak Vanderherten asks, how many Spady packages are they using?
That would be awesome to know, right? Like, why wouldn't you want to know that?
Oh boy.
Because then you're depressed on, man, they're making millions of dollars
Yeah,
and I'm making
billions.
pennies.
I mean, you got the composer file right there. All you have to do is open it up.
Well, that's knowing Spady, he would never touch it either. You don't want to be a software developer and have
I'm saying
reasonably accused.
The person who posted the screenshot. All they have to do is see the tweet and open up that composer file for us. I don't want to touch it. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying somebody's already there. So let's take a peek. See what packages. I wonder if my filament's being
Don't
used.
take a peek.
That's my new favorite filament. My guy, I think Discord for this, and the creator or one of the creators for Filament is in our Discord or pops into our Discord every now and then. I started using Filament on the PHP Roundtable website as a replacement for Laravel Nova. So it's the same concept. It's just a quick to build admin package, and very happy with it. Probably going to continue using it.
What makes it different from Nova?
Well, it's free, open source. That's the biggest thing. Oh. So I wanted something that was free and open source for a PHP Roundtable, because my idea was to eventually just open source the PHP Roundtable website for anybody who wanted to help me build it. And with Nova, you need a license, and it's kind of a pain. I haven't, and I gotta say, I'm really happy with it. And then it's also built on the Tall stack, so it's got Tailwind, it's got my Livewire. It gets Alpine JS. That's what Tall stands for. Laravel, Tailwind, Alpine JS, Livewire, and Laravel is the Tall stack. And so it's built on the Tall stack. So I have all my Livewire components in there. And he recently just released, and I've had it in my Trello board for a couple of weeks. Matter of fact, I'll move it over now. The same people who have that project, the Filament project, just released Filament Forms, which is essentially the same concept. It's built on the Tall stack, so you're using Livewire components to build forms very quickly. So it's different because it's not binding to the admin to models to manage an admin interface. This is meant to build forms for your front end, which I may be using in a project here very shortly on a new website I want to rebuild using Tall. I'll drop that over here too.
Speaking of jQuery, the news. You were talking about you mentioned jQuery. The Discord's going nuts about jQuery right now.
He is correct. They are talking about jQuery in there.
jQuery has officially jumped the shark.
Uh-oh. What do you mean?
Halfway through 2020, it hit its peak usage and is now in a state of declining implementation on the internet. So people are stopping using jQuery and not starting again.
It's because of Livewire.
Nothing to do with Livewire.
Pretty sure it's Livewire.
But yeah, at its peak, it was used on 80% of the top 100,000 websites. which is
What's it getting
pretty
replaced with? I mean, even like packages, like even like Vue and stuff, I'm sure it has jQuery buried into
Ooh.
it somewhere.
No. Vue.
You don't think?
Alpine, React. There's a couple other Bootstrap. Now that you mentioned it.
Well, I can tell you, at one point I worked on a website that had 3 versions of jQuery like on a single page.
Mm-hmm.
So
Why?
that drove up the 80%. You work on a project with lots of people and they're like, oh, I need this. And then they bring in something not realizing it's already there. And when you're doing scripts kind of per page versus site wide, all of a sudden you have like way too much going on.
This is why you can't use JavaScript, man. Just stick with PHP.
Yeah.
And Angular, Vue, and React.
Angular, Vue, and React.
I buy that. Yeah.
I mean, it was king of the hill for a very long time.
Yeah, like 15
Yeah, but
years.
it's big. Yeah, but like what Kevin just said in Discord, the thing it brought was browser compatibility. Like browsers were doing things so widely differently that jQuery made them all work the same way. Now they all kind of follow a standard where you don't need that anymore.
Well, and selectors.
Do you guys remember having to detect what browser the user was using before you could implement things? Holy smokes. Good gosh. Yeah, the selectors, that's a big deal. Now everybody's got those.
Now it's standard, right?
Yeah, everybody's doing that now, yeah.
So jQuery has a role in the history, but might be on its way out.
Yeah. And Vue is independent. Alpine. There's a lot out there. And I remember about 7 years ago, there was the big thing about getting rid of jQuery. It's dated. It doesn't work the same as all the newer stuff. It's not as good. And it was like, yeah, but I can just download the animation plugin for it and tell it to animate this thing, or like make it drag and droppable.
Right. Now you can do it with CSS so easy.
Well, and when Vue came out, you could add an attribute that just said draggable, and it was like Vue just handled it. And then all that stuff with Bower on top of it, which could compile backwards compatible versions and automatically do what's it called, type filling?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, polyfill.
Polyfill.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
It could automatically polyfill. We really moved away from jQuery. But yeah, it's officially over the hill.
Just like me. What?
No. You've got a good couple days left in you.
He's almost a day over 50.
All right, we're talking about age. I gotta tell a funny story. My wife is at the dog park today.
Make sure that it's recording.
Yeah.
We had an issue with Zencaster earlier with a funny story.
She made me laugh. There was this kid there with a dog, and she's at the dog park. She's not quite sure of his age. He's younger, and this little toddler comes in. She's like, okay, maybe that's his son. But then a middle schooler comes in, and at some point, he says, "Oh, we're all siblings," and he tells her the ages. And she goes, "Yeah, we're siblings too," talking about her and our kids. And she goes, "I'm only 21." And the kid's like, "Oh, really?" That poor kid. She had him going.
Lady, you've got a wine glass on a lanyard. You're definitely not 21. I have a ticket here.
Let me hear it.
It just says, "Dear null safe operator, I'm sorry I was mean to you." I had complained that the null safe operator was going to promote bad practices and chaining things that might or might not be there. You should be validating and verifying. And I had a ticket this week that I had to apologize about because I'm sending data to an API and my sources of my data are sometimes there, sometimes not. I'm using the Laravel validator to make sure I have the data I need, or if I cast it or anything like that. So, I have some issues where, I'm checking for information that might be nested 4 or 5 objects deep, and I don't want to do an if is set 5 objects deep on something. And null is actually a perfectly valid response for that field if I don't have the data. So there's little question arrows all over my code base now.
So you found a real world use case for it. Nice.
100%. Like if it were not for this, if it were not for null safe, I would have to do try catches on each line for 400 lines of code. I swear to God, that's what the only, or I'd have to create an accessor class. So, I mean, there are ways around. I could have gone around this, but
well, clearly,
it's
there
clean.
are always ways. To
There's
do
always
it
ways.
Before. Yeah,
but just adding a question mark in there, not worrying about if I'm calling a method on a non-object.
It does look ugly, but it does have its place too.
Does it look PHP ugly? That's the question.
Well, and it's only in this block of code where it's very
put a rim shot in
relevant. I don't have it.
I love the fact that he looked down at his screen. Like, do I have one of those?
No,
I don't have a button for that.
No, I have a soundboard on the stream deck. It just doesn't play through the stream right now. Only I would hear it.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I love our Discord channel.
Speaking of loving our Discord channel and our wonderful patrons, thank you to our patrons from Patreon.
Yes, thank you.
We haven't had a new one in a couple of weeks. That's always a little disappointing, but yes, we have a good flow. We need to, John. We need to get international stickers out. So I will go back through that. I'll go back to that through that spreadsheet, and I would say I could get the stickers from you and do it myself, but I'm not trying to bring more stuff into this house. I'm trying to keep things out of this house right now.
I've got a few bags already made up.
Yeah.
Are you getting a pod to store stuff?
It's out in front of my house right now. There's a pod
I'm gonna warn you now.
Let me hear it.
Once you have it and it's at their facility, you just don't think about it and it's gone forever and you just pay monthly for it.
I wouldn't have a problem with it. Well, I have a storage bin. I actually have 2 storage bins, one for Diego Dev and one personally. And it's been a lifesaver for us in our current house. Like, one of the reasons we're moving is because our current house is too small. We've got a lot of people living here. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I've got stuff in there from my offices and my Batman toy collection and stuff I haven't seen in months, in like a year. And I feel like it could all go away and I would be okay with it, but I still like to know it's there. I go into my storage unit every now and then and just start petting the boxes. And
just like Batman. You don't necessarily need to see him. You just want to know that he's there.
That's exactly. Our Diego Dev storage facility. And I took the time to go to Costco. I bought these big, heavy-duty shelves. It makes all the difference in the world. Like, our storage units are actually usable storage units. It's not just this empty room with boxes packed in it. And our Diego Dev one is like, when we had our Diego Dev office, it started inheriting all my like office stuff that I had. And then when we closed it, I'm like, I'm not bringing this stuff back into my house. So that's one of the reasons why we had gotten the storage unit. But I was in there the other day just taking out cables that we have, like the different USB cables we have.
Oh yeah.
There must be like 50,000 cables in there. I'm like, I need to go on one of those like TaskRabbit services and pay somebody to come out here and just inventory everything we have in this storage unit, because I think it's good stuff, but nobody knows what's there to know to go there to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they say on Hoarders, literally every episode.
Yeah.
I know these cables are good.
I feel that way.
There's still a couple printers out there that use this type of USB plug, okay? And if you would
What are you talking about?
away,
You talking about was it CR232? The pin
Oh yeah,
connection to
no.
the dot matrix?
I dug through all my old stuff once when I was moving, and I found 4 USB to PS2 mouse converters.
Really?
Well, for a while, every time you bought a mouse, it was USB, but it included a little
Yep.
converter dongle because everyone was getting
Exactly
rid of
what
the
you're talking
standard.
about.
So yeah, I had stacks of them on all of my old Palm Pilots. You know, like it was like a museum of computer history. Do I need this IDE cable? I don't know. Do I have any IDE devices? Like, I've got that drive. It might have Bitcoin on it. Then what do I do?
That's it, exactly. So yeah, we have a little bit of a hoard. I have a little bit of a hoarding problem, I guess, but yeah, I need to go through there. We got monitors, got a lot of
It's
stuff.
only a problem if you have friends to bug you about it.
That's true. All right, where are we at?
I guess I'm gonna need access to that storage unit once you're gone, huh?
Gone.
Do you have a key for it?
It's an hour
Did I
away.
Oh.
give you a key for it?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I'll have to
okay.
look.
Yeah.
Let me get all the meth out of it first.
I get it. Well, yeah,
Why?
and unfortunately, like with the house, I'm kind of strict about like trying to keep things separate. But I had to break down and put a couple of personal things into our company storage with trying to get the house ready for showing. I had like had a couple old like
CRT monitors, flatbed scanners.
Oh man.
One of those old projectors that's got a red lens, a green lens, and a
All
blue
right,
lens.
their storage is of shame. Let me just put it to you like that. Their storage is of shame. You guys are horrible people.
You should just get a shipping container and park it permanently at the new house.
I would
Fill
totally
it
do
up.
that. I love that idea of shipping containers and turning them into offices and storage bins. If I had the property, I would completely do that. I'm a big fan of that idea.
I just love the implication on
You
pop
have
media.
so much
that it's, like,
space
cheap.
in that house.
Yeah, but I still have a lot of people.
I go to Walmart and they've got 2 plastic bins, and one of them is $11 and the other one is $7.50. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of like the clear one though, but is it $3 worth of better? And then like HGTV is like, yeah, build a shipping container house. Like they're cheap. Like, no, shipping containers aren't cheap either. I already struggle with buying basic containers. A shipping container is like $3,500 for one.
Yeah,
It's
but
got no
3,500
structural. It's got no structural integrity.
$3,500. What do you mean? It sure does. $3,500. I mean, you're paying. That's like 2 or 3 years of a storage unit. So like 2 or 3 years, you paid off.
The way that they stack puts the entirety of the load on the 4 corners.
Have you ever been to a shipping yard? Have you
Yeah.
seen how high they stack those things?
Because the entirety of the weight is on the 4 corners. But if you try to bury a shipping container for like a shelter, you can't go
But don't
past
bury
you
it.
can't go past 2 feet of dirt
Why would you bury it? What do you
for a
gopher or
shelter.
something? It doesn't have to be buried to be a shelter. What are you talking about?
A
Or
bomb
strange
shelter.
person.
We're talking about office or storage. We're not
This is
talking
a
about
Colorado
a shelter.
thing.
Good God.
When you're in Colorado, you're always talking about a bomb shelter.
So one fun thing about house hunting, and we did a lot of house hunting, is you come up with you find some really kooky things and layouts. And I was down for this. I told the wife, like, I will totally do this. One had a full-fledged bat cave bunker buried beneath the
Nice.
property with like this thick door that had to be like lift. I don't know how they opened the damn thing. It was pretty cool. I'm like that. That's like, I don't know how you like preppers, like how they get to that point where they're like, yeah, sure, I'll spend $50,000-$60,000 and make a bunker underground.
It's a
But
hobby.
it's so cool when you do. Like, it's
Yeah.
like I want that. I'm not going to spend that money, but like if
So-
it's there already, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. The thing is that it's a hobby. And like most people who are fanatics about a given hobby spend all of their extra income on that thing. Like woodworkers and I'm sure you've known people who have $100,000 in tools.
Have you seen
Mhm.
Colin Furs on YouTube?
Yeah. Boy,
I'm-
he makes it
I'm
look
throwing that
safe when
into-
it's really not safe.
Oh, is that the English guy who built the
Yeah.
bunker and he's building
Yeah.
the tunnel between the?
The
I
secret
have seen
tunnel.
him. Yeah. He's very
That guy's
cool.
crazy.
Did you see?
That's all I have for it. I'm in Discord. But-
You're great contribution there, John.
Thanks.
Oh yes, this guy. Yeah.
Oh, would you like it in Trello? Is that what you're saying?
No, you already have it in Discord.
Interesting
It's
guy.
fine. Yeah.
Used to be a plumber.
Really?
Yeah, that
He
was
was a
his
plumber?
that was his original job. He was a plumber.
I don't know why I said it like that. Like plumbers can't be creative people or anything, but yeah. Never pinned him as a plumber.
I do tell you what though, like looking at the income on all those people on Twitch, it made me want to start playing video games with a camera on me and yelling at the screen.
But how many people were really making that kind of money?
0.1% of people were making like reasonable incomes.
But John, you're not going to make that money unless you try to make that money.
True.
Yeah.
Are you a compelling game player that people are going to want to watch?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not even sure why people listen to this podcast.
They don't.
That's true. If I ever got numbers that rivaled this podcast, that on its own would be amazing. I should just be playing video games while we're doing this.
I keep saying we should be live coding. I think people would appreciate it if you live coded like something. I mean, I'm not saying we have to do it every week, but like every time I even suggest we pull up like a code, you both are like, no.
I never say that.
I'm pretty sure
Stop
you
it.
make that exact face.
That's just my normal face.
I would be afraid of the criticism immediately if I started live coding.
I agree. Like I think about doing it all the time, and like when I was doing the PHP roundtable stuff, I was at first I wasn't doing it because I didn't know the code base and I didn't want to accidentally leak information. Then I just started like, well, I don't know, man. It's like I already know I'm not very good at this, so I don't know if it would be really good for everybody else to know how bad I am at this. But I tell you what did make me better. Honey Badger, no.
Your subscription to PHP Architect.
My subscription to PHP Architect. No. Honestly, one of the things that made me better, and it keeps creeping up in my life, and every moment I think I've moved past that part of my life. There's something that reminds me of why I need to engage in it again. It are user groups, specifically the SDPHP, the San Diego PHP user group. We haven't had a meetup since before the pandemic. Well, not before the pandemic, after the pandemic started and everything started to shut down. And that's really one of the ways John and I started Diego Dev was just word of mouth through the user group and getting clients through the user group. Matter of fact, our biggest client today that we still have to this day, we got through a contact in the user group. And just this week, we had a meeting with somebody who knew of us through the user group. Every time I record this podcast, I see SDPHP over John's shoulder there. I'm like, man, we have got to get that user group going again. I still think it's a little too soon, but I don't think it's. I've kind of come to the conclusion of we're going to have to run it again, or if somebody else wants to step up and run it, we'll definitely help them. But I need to get the user group going again for sure.
Yeah, we will. I think once the vaccine for kids comes out, that'll be a changer for a lot of people.
Yeah.
As more and more kids under 12, because I don't go do anything like Ultimate Frisbee, something I love playing. I don't go do, even though they're playing again, because of the kids.
Well, yeah, and once all the people who are crazy die off.
That's all that doesn't come to that.
That never happens.
It's happened in Florida. More people died of COVID in the last year than the difference between Ron DeSantis winning and losing the election.
Really?
Yeah. So it's going to have a measurable response on the next voting cycle, which is a weird way to go about what I wanted.
So, Charlton in Discord, are you run a user group? And if so, where at? He mentions running meetups for over 15 years were worth it. How long did we run SDPHP, John?
Started in 2012.
Okay, so about 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that's respectable. I'm good with that.
I ran it with you guys too.
I think. Well, I mean, really, yeah. If you think
my
about
resume clearly states I was a founding member.
No, you weren't.
No, but my resume clearly states that.
Oh. I mean, you were pretty early when you were a founding member of the North County PHP. I think you were one of the first meetings there.
Well, no, yeah, I met you guys there, and then agreed to do bi-monthly presentations because we couldn't get presenters. So I think I have 10 or 15 presentations still on.
It was always so
slides.
Interesting to see the difference between the downtown meetup and the North
Never
County
went.
meetup. You never went to a downtown one?
No, never went to any of those.
I mean, downtown, I'm using that word loosely. It kind of floated around. Anything south of the 78 was considered downtown, but it was there were very different people, very different groups. But at one point within our universe, we were running North County SDPHP, downtown SDPHP, and San Diego Laravel user group all at the same time.
And to a certain extent, North County Fox Pro.
Says it with a serious face every time. You love that Fox Pro. You've reached for that Fox Pro card an awful lot.
It is burned into my memory that Fox Pro is the superior language.
I've got to wonder what it's going to be like to try to get a space to host a meetup. I've got to think it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, who wants weirdos coming into their place?
Yeah. Who even has a place anymore? in our industry is really who's making people come to an office anymore.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out at some point.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of library spaces. I used to when I was doing it here in Colorado Springs, we ran it out of the library.
Yeah, we used to use those co-working facilities. We used those for a while.
Yeah,
at least one of them downtown. Yeah.
Is the original North County building not populated by the same people?
No. Yeah, they were bought and sold not too long after you left. I think
it was before I left a little bit.
Oh, was it before you left?
Yeah, and they went mostly remote. Robert.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Hey, I saw a picture of your old boss. Have you seen your old boss lately?
No.
Dude is ripped.
Yeah.
I mean, he is jacked, dude. He's not. We were talking about how much weight he had lost, like the last time we saw him. The guy is jacked. I mean, we're talking like rock jacked.
That is bizarre.
Yeah, he's great. It is great. I saw. We were chatting, and I saw his avatar. I'm like, who's? I honestly thought it was like a model or something that he was using for his avatar. And I click on it. I'm like, well, shit, that almost looks like him. I'm looking at him, I'm like, holy crap, that's him. You have access.
I'll have to look him up.
I think you have access to that avatar if you're creative.
Oh yeah, I think I do.
He is pretty ripped right now. I'm very envious. I don't know what that guy's doing, but yeah.
Do you want to close with little pop culture stuff?
Let's do it.
Have you guys watched Squid Game?
No interest.
I'm not. I've heard about it. I haven't watched it.
Well, that's the end of the pop culture stuff.
What the hell?
What else? I don't know what else. I was thinking maybe you saw an episode.
I mean, were you going somewhere with that? Was there a reason? All right, what if I had said yes?
Isn't it great?
I don't know. I haven't watched it. Have you watched the What Ifs?
Yes, or as we call it around my house, as if.
As if.
I have not watched the most recent one, but from what I know of it, it is exactly what I had predicted 3 or 4 episodes ago.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of predicted it, but it's still good.
Is it? It's a series.
Yeah, Disney Plus. It's actually an old comic book series, an old Marvel comic series. I used to be a huge fan of it, where they say, "What if?" and then they throw out these, kooky scenarios. What if Spider-Man got Mr. Fantastic's powers?
They weren't that kooky. That was the thing.
Some of them were.
Some of them were. Yeah, some of them were way out there, but most of them, as the series went along, was just what if there was this one little thing that happened.
One little thing was different, yeah.
Right. So there's an episode there's an issue where Spider-Man accidentally kills somebody, and Bucky Barnes doesn't take him out of Russia. So in the canonical story, Spider-Man accidentally killed somebody, and Bucky immediately was like, "We're going back to America. You got to deal with this because you don't kill people, and it's not your thing." But the What If version, he didn't do that. So Spider-Man ended up turning into an assassin, and that's the black costume Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff.
This is a series on Disney Plus now that takes a lot of the more recent Marvel movies and kind of puts a little what ifs. The big what if spin is like if is it Karen Carter or Agent Carter became Captain Carter instead of...
That's the first one, yeah.
Instead of Steve Rogers becoming Captain America.
That's the Death by Snoo Snoo episode.
Yeah. And little things like that. But they're good. And supposedly they're supposed to play into the main Marvel...
Yes, they definitely do.
So,
because it deals with the multiverse and the beings that live outside of it.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm really excited.
It's been good. I mean, I'm a comic book geek anyway, so it's like, you know, I was gonna like it, but yeah.
I found this out the other day, and it has completely changed my perspective on going to see movies right now. But during a weekday showing at like 7:30, renting out the whole theater for 20 people is about $220. So like,
okay, do you need to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've got a bunch of friends who are into the Marvel stuff, and all we have to do is coordinate and say like, hey, 7:00 on Wednesday, we're going to go see Eternals, which is the next one that we're going to do this for. And it's like, yeah, you've got all your friends, all of them are vaccinated, there's no strangers in the theater sitting next to you, and it's a max 20 people, and that comes down to like cheaper than a normal ticket per person. So I'm very excited about doing that. We're doing that in about a month, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I know movie theaters are trying to get people back in. I mean, they're trying hard. We went and saw what did we see? Free Guy. We went and saw Free Guy in the theater. That was good. It was horrible. But it was like a spontaneous thing. We were out. We were trying to kill some time. I was like, all right, well, this movie's playing. The theater's open. Let's go. I think we were actually showing our house at the time, and so we ended up doing it. And
I liked a lot of the references in it, but it pandered to a far too small audience, a far too large audience. A lot of Fortnite references, Mario stuff.
I thought they leaned too heavy on the kookiness of the lead character, being how silly this is going to be, and it's like, all right, this is kind of old.
Well, the issue I had was that they did not bring up speedrunning, which, even though it's like a niche community in the gaming world, it's big enough that people know about it, and it provides so much good content for a movie, for that movie specifically. Like, they really could have played on that, and
I don't know how you would have done speedrunning in that one,
because essentially that's what he does when the chick is like, you need to level up.
That's true.
He starts speedrunning the game, and speedrunning is all about finding glitches, which is the main point of the end of the movie, finding the glitch. And it was interesting. I was the kiss scene where she is extraordinarily embarrassed that she just kissed a video game character, I thought was hilarious. Like, trying to explain to her friend, well, he kissed me. Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it.
Buttery went to James Bond.
And on that note,
I'm curious about James Bond. I want to see that.
I heard it was actually pretty good. It was a good comeback. I guess the last one wasn't so good. All right, I think we've met our court.
We've
regulated 1 hour of talking. Yeah, John's like, come on, let's wrap it up, guys.
Dune is coming out in 2 weeks.
Dude, that was one of those bad experiences as a kid. I went and saw Dune in the theaters. I'm like, why am I here? Mom, take me home.
Yeah. Why did Mom take you to Dune? a story about interstellar drug trade where your quinceañera is being tortured.
Yeah, that was I can't. I'm not too excited about Dune. Batman's coming out at some point. Batman. All right, that's it. Episode 257 in the books. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Subscribe to
Keep It Ugly.
Keep It Ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP.
Oh, sorry, buddy. You've had a
It's
shitty week.
called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style.
Wait,
So
like
let's
I said,
do it
I
when
was
I'm
riding
spitting,
the
I
high
perfume the
from
room. Yo, the
those
segment
hacks
of the show
all
is
week.
called Doom and Gloom. That
Just
came
every
from
day
Thomas.
was better and
Yeah,
better.
can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey.
Let's go.
One of these days, we're gonna add a fade out to effect to that.
Charlton. What was it? Charlton? What did you say it was? Charlton. Hey, Charlton. Okay,
Charlton.
You're all fixed. You're all fixed, buddy.
See ya.
Does OBS read it just the one time when you start OBS, or will it update because I just updated the file? Go over to Patreon. I'm just curious. It's gotta read it when it starts up. I don't think it would load.
I think there's
every time.
options for it.
It's gonna be pretty far down the list here. These are fairly new. Oh, Charlton was able to request this. In case you're listening, it's because he is a Patreon and he is in the special The Herd Discord channel. If you would like to join us, all you need to do is become a Patreon. You need to
Hey, look at that. It did update. Nice.
Very neat. All you have to do is become a Patreon and associate your Discord handle to your Patreon account, and you're automatically added to a special Patreon only Discord channel where we'll go in there every now and then and ask for feedback or ideas or just
Money.
go in there and chat.
Need more money. Oh,
Drop a discount coupon in there for PHP Architect for anybody in the.
you need to
Herd
add
channel.
me. I need to get a physical copy this month.
Well, you're not going to get this month. We're just getting last month's. Like we're just
No,
hearing
this
that people are getting last month's.
cycle.
Yeah.
All you have to
Physical
do is
copies
go to
are tough.
phparch.com and click on subscribe, digital and print.
That
Click the
takes
button.
money.
You need to
Enter
do
your-
it. It's going to be more money. We need to raise those prices, Mr. Condon. Prices are raising in us. It's already a zero margin subscription.
Really?
We need to raise our prices. Look at the picture. All right,
Oh man,
I'm going to get this edited. You guys got more to chat about, or
that's
I'm
just want to say that Twitch leak. Just chef's kiss. Hold on. There was a comic someone posted that was like, it's like, hey, did you hear that Twitch leaked? It's like, no, what'd they get? No, Twitch leaked. All of Twitch, the whole thing.
what do I want to do here? I want to do Dropbox.
Let's see. It's the newest one.
After. Oh,
Where is the goddamn comic?
Tax extension. You've only got 7 days left, according to
For
Kevin.
what?
If you've did a tax extension, like you didn't file back in April.
you didn't even have to file in April, right? Didn't they already extend it for people? Like, wasn't it like an extra month or something this year?
Yeah,
I
but
don't
you
know.
still
I
had to
don't know.
like file for an extension after that.
Hmm.
All right, ending the stream. Thank you everybody for watching. It is always a pleasure.
Bye, everyone. Good night.